Hi everyone, we're going to write the equation of a conic section in standard form by completing the square. We're also going to graph this and write down pertinent information that's needed for the conic. So the first thing I want to do is group my x's and y's together. So I have x squared. First of all, we want to know what this is, so I know that my lead coefficients of my x squared and y squared are both positive, but they're different. There's a 1 in front of the x squared and a 9. So that means this is going to be an ellipse. So that's going to help us find out what information we need to write down. So that's an ellipse. So now let's group our x's together and our y's together. That way we can complete the square. I'll move this constant over here to the right side. Now, to complete the square, we're going to write x squared minus 8x plus, complete the square, you take half of 8 and square it, and half of 8 is 4, square it 16, or you could say negative 4 squared is still positive 16. And then on this part, I'm going to write, pull out the 9. So it's going to be y squared minus 10y. And so I take half of negative 10. It's negative 5 and square it. That's 25. So those are your complete the square parts. Now on this side we have negative 232. And then we added this 16. So if we added it on the left, we have to add it on the right. And on here I added 25, but it's really 9 times 25. And then when you add all this up, you get 9. So let's condense this. We get x minus half of, we're condensing the perfect square trinomial. So half of 8 is 4. And if you FOIL this out, you'd get this back. And then plus 9 times y minus half of 10 is 5. And that equals 9. And then we're going to divide everything by 9 because we need to put it in standard form. And when you do that, you're going to get x minus 4 squared over 9 plus y minus 5 squared over 1 equals 1. Now let's get some information from this. We want to find our foci, which is the c part. So we want to find c. So we're going to do c squared. On the ellipse, it's a squared minus b squared. So what I do is I write down my a squared, which is always your bigger number. It's 9. Always has to be bigger because you're subtracting. Your b squared is 1. Therefore, your c squared, if you take 9 minus 1, that's 8. Therefore, your a equals plus or minus 3. Your b equals plus or minus 1. And your c equals plus or minus square root of 8. And what you need to know is the square root of 8 is in between the square root of 4 and the square root of 9. So that's in between 2 and 3. Also, you need to know the square root of 8 is 2 square root of 2 when we have to write down our foci. Alright, so that's that. And what else? Our eccentricity is c over a. That tells you how far it is from looking like a circle. The farther away from 1 it is, the more it gets away from being a circle. So your c is square root of 8, and your a, we're just going to use positives here, it's 3. So it's a little less than 1, but pretty close to 1. So we'll see what that looks like. All right. And now what we're going to do is to find out all the other information. We're going to graph it while we're doing it. So let's go ahead and graph it. My center is just going to be from here, which is your HK, so that's going to be 4, 5. I'm going to go over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, my A was plus or minus 3, and that's under the X, so that's going to be left and right 3. So you go to the right 3 for plus 3, 1, 2, 3. To the left 3, 1, 2, 3. And under my Y is the 1. So square root of 1 was plus or minus 1. So I'm going to go up 1 and down 1. So there it is. And now you just kind of connect your vertices together. The major vertice is the longer one, the bigger number. So we went to the left 3 and to the right 3. So the length, we put length, if I can spell it, it's going to be 2a. In this case, it's 2 times 3, which equals 6, because you do plus or minus 3 there. So this is the length of the major. Length of the minor is 2b, which you just look under the y, so that's 2 times 1, and that's going to be 2. And you can see it here. It's up 1, down 1, and then this is going to be 6. And what else do we have to do? We have to find our vertices and our focus. So these are our major vertices right here, because that's where the foci is. So the vertices, what we did is we took our x, which is 4, we added 3, and I'm just going to copy my 5 down for the y, and we subtracted 3. So my vertices are going to be 7, 5, and 1, 5. My co-vertices are these right here, the smaller number. So I'm going to copy down my 4. I'm going to take my 5, and I added 1, and I also subtracted 1. So that's going to be 4, 6, and 4, 4. And these are your co-vertices. And now for our foci, remember our foci was plus or minus square root of 8. And we also remember that the square root of 8 was in between 2 and 3. So basically it's always on your major axis. So we're going to go up to the right 2. So we're going to be really close here. Let me do it in a different color. Let me do it in red. Really close to 3. The square root of 9 is really close to 3. And then do the minus, so that goes over here. Now to write it down, we're adding it to the x portion. So it's going to be 4 plus, instead of square root of 8, I want to write 2 square root of 2. So it's going to be 2 square root of 2. Then just copy down your 5 for your center. And then also for minus 2 square root of 2, 5. And this would be your foci. Okay? And that's all. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.